All right, time to look at these most anticipated earnings for this upcoming week. Not too many fantastic ones that you might be super excited about, but I think there's some key players in here you might be interested to look at. Definitely, we'll take a look at these and see what's possible with the market being so crazy right now. Who knows what's going on, but obviously individual earnings could potentially impact some specific stocks as opposed to the whole market. So nothing out of this group will really do anything that'll impact the whole market, just so you know, but maybe you could make some money off of these stock earnings. So just take a look at it, see what there is. So before open Monday, we've got Thor Industries. Believe it or not, it's not related to the mythical god. It's not that Thor, but it is in fact called Thor Industries. We've got Sogyu. That's a Chinese company. Interesting stuff. And don't forget, Sohu.com. That's right. They're completely different. You may not think they are, but they are. We've got Biospell. Whoa, the brain is not functioning. Therapeutics, but here we go. Definitely. And this is the craziest thing I've said in my life. And my guy, hard worker he's a hard worker for his money, okay? He knows what he's doing right now. He is a guy who's been typically trading these biopharmacies, these therapeutic stocks, which has traditionally been the most volatile thing that is potentially in the market. And guess what? The guy's getting some gains because of it. In a time in which the market's super volatile, when there's a virus outbreak like this, a lot of these biopharmacies tend to go up, and it's actually one of the more reliable sources. It's still crazy volatile, but right now there's nothing else going up besides those kind of stocks. So the guy's doing a good job. So take a look at some of these therapeutics and biopharmacy stocks for sure. We've got Changyu, Matinas, which is that's right, it's a biopharmacy. And guess what? Minerva, that's right. Be peeping that. 9. We've got KLX Energy Services, and that'll wrap up your Monday before open. After close Monday, we've got a lovely Stitch Fix, which Stitch Fix is certainly an interesting one in my opinion. I've been looking at this stock for a little bit, not in the too recent past, but so Stitch Fix here is a stock that over the past year it IPO'd in I believe 2017 at some point. It had some very big highs, and then it went right back down to right now it's still certainly above where IPO was by about 34%, but at one point this thing was up over 100% in the first year. So definitely an interesting little stock, and I think there could be some value in this one, but I do think the PE ratio is a little bit inflated on it, no doubt. So recent market pullback hasn't affected it that much. It's actually only down 5% in the last month. So all things considered, Stitch Fix, I don't know if it's necessarily ready for a purchase yet, but I think there could be a justification for a purchase of it. So we've got Franco-Nevada, Vail Resorts, another one of those resort type things. It's going to be an interesting one to look at for a contrarian potential aspect of it, because these stocks have been hammered, obviously because of a little bit of a outbreak. People are not trying to go to any, they're canceling vacations. They don't want to go to these resorts because too many crowded people, too many people in a crowded space. They don't want it. So it could be something to buy off of weakness, because my guess is they're going to issue some low guidance for the next quarter, as well as this quarter they might have a little bit low report as well. But you should see an impact for these kind of companies for the next 1 or 2 quarterly earnings. So definitely potentially one to look at, see how much it gets hammered by. A lot of it's kind of already sold into the market, but we'll see. We've got Purple. You may know Purple from their Purple mattress, Purple seat cushion, Purple. They make a bunch of just comfy stuff, right? Very expensive stuff, but very comfy stuff. Purple blanket. They have all this stuff. Definitely an interesting company as far as what they produce. I think they do produce a good product. Now, whether that makes the stock a viable option, I don't know. So that's what I like doing these for, because it gives you time to actually look at these companies and you think about it. So right now the company is a negative earner. That's right. Company does not really make profit at the moment. So the question is, will it make profit potentially? I don't know. But in the past year, this thing's up over 120%. And that's through this recent downturn where it's actually only down 4%. So Purple's kind of killing it right now. Where, I mean, it did IPO around 975, I believe, and it's only at 1270 per share now, but it did go down quite a bit. So if you picked it up on that down point, which I was tempted to when I looked at this before, you would have made some money. But still, Casey's General Store, U.S. Auto Parts, we've got Synchronos Technologies, Intermex, Avid, Xenon, and Xenon. Don't forget Xenon. So Tuesday before open, we've got Dick's Sporting Goods. Again, that'll go in line with some of these clothing ones we had last week. A little bit more, but obviously this includes more to go with it. It'll be interesting just to look how Dick's is doing, because I feel like we've had, well, it's going to be an interesting quarter for him. I think obviously this is the quarter over the Christmas season for them, so they should post good numbers. But if they don't, the question is there an issue with supply chain? What's going on in the future? Guidance is, again, what matters with these retailers. So, interesting one to look at. We've got Acabia. We've got Covia. Parsons. Gotta love it. Inspire MD. Inspire MD has been a pretty hot stick, for sure. Inspire MD, I think, is, let's see, in the past year over 50% up. So since IPO, up 240% when it IPO'd in somewhere in early 2018. So this thing's been a hot stock. There's no doubt about it. We've got Catabases, Deseki. That's how you pronounce it, I promise. Okay, don't you doubt me. We've got AE Margin. Don't really, I mean, Triforce E Margin, or Magan. Triforce E Magan. I don't know what that means, but I know what a Triforce is. Thank you very much. Copen and GP Strategies. Nothing too exciting Tuesday, but there could be some good ones. That Inspire MD one could go down quite a bit. I don't know. This thing's it's a bloated stock. There's no doubt about it. But we've got Cloudera, which I think Cloudera is a decent play right now. I think it's a very good future play, no doubt about it. Potentially, at least. So Cloudera is a global data management platform for services and solutions, data hubs, data warehouses, data science and engineering. I mean, this is a really just, if you think about the future, a future company, it kind of fits there. And really, since IPO in 2017, this thing is down 55%. The past year, it's been down 44%. So I don't know. This might be a good, decent buy. I'd like to look at the business because I want to know exactly what they're offering. But this is one I'm going to be looking at personally. I'll take a look at these earnings because they are barely a negative earnings maker. They're close to profitability, but they're expected to make negative. So if they post a positive quarter, this could go up quite a bit. We've got Turtle Beach, best known for their headsets for the gamer boys. We've got Vivint Solar, which they're pretty much, I mean, they do a lot of different things from smart homes to stuff like that. So pretty cool stuff. So it's all focused on solar power. We've got Avid Biosciences, another biosciences to look at. CV Sciences, another one to look at. So we got Resonant Inc. Chemo. We got Chemocentrics, which again sounds like a cancer-esque type company working on chemotherapy treatments, which it could be an interesting one. Pet IQ, which is a newer name that I've seen. Pet IQ is not one I typically used to see, and that's because, well, I mean, they IPO'd in good old 2017, I believe. So Pet IQ is an interesting one. They're doing pretty well for themselves, but again, it's like most IPOs, I mean this company makes profit, which is pretty interesting. But I think they're expected a pretty low quarter this time around, so we'll see how they do that way. We got Fulgent and Castle. Okay, that'll wrap you up for Wednesday or Tuesday. Sorry, Wednesday we have lovely Adidas. I say Adidas, so they can say whatever they want, but I say Adidas. We got another Chinese company. Sorry, I don't speak the language. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe I should learn, but maybe I shouldn't, because, we don't want to get, you know what I mean? A little infection, We've got Unfi, Farrah Bradley, Express, McEwen Mining. Again, one of these mining type stocks, they're not really, I wouldn't say hot in the market right now. Not a play I usually would mess with. So I don't know if I'm too interested in McEwen Mining. That's right, we've got Build-A-Bear Workshops. Definitely an interesting one because I think people will be afraid to go in these. So guidance I think could be rough for a Build-A-Bear. I think for a lot of these retailers, guidance might be weak because people have really been stocking up. But you think about a company like Build-A-Bear, no one's stocking up on Build-A-Bears, but they don't want to go out in public for the next little while. So is this something that gets affected? It might. Stock price might go down even further, but I think it's slightly sold in already. We've got IEA with the Incredibles 2 logo for some reason. I don't know how they got the right to that, but clearly that's not right. We got Liquidia and Inspired. I'm inspired every day. After close we have, that's right, this is a very important one to look at in my opinion. It's one I made a dedicated video on before, and I'm interested to take a look now after these earnings. I will definitely do an analysis of these earnings for sure. No doubt about it, because that's right, it's Inseego. Inseego is obviously a big 5G play. The stock is down pretty nicely, actually. In the past month, down 23%. So, I mean, it's trading relatively flat over a 5-year basis. This is an interesting one to play, but, I mean, it's had lows in the $1 range, and now it's relatively near highs, actually, if you think about it, but definitely could be a very interesting play. So I'll consider picking this bad boy up if it drops a little bit more, or if the earnings are really good and it continues to drop, I'll definitely buy it. So Inseego is a big one to look at. I think that's your main one this week you want to look at. After that, we got Novavax and then Dynavax. Completely different companies. Come on now. Then we have good old Del Taco. If you like a very low tier paper taco, you can go to Del Taco and enjoy it. I don't eat much fast food, so sorry. I don't have Del Taco around here either, but still, I know it's not good because I've partaken before. We've got Wheaton, then Miragen. Miragen's a good company there. Might be interesting to look at. Clearside, Aqua Metals. I really like the name. It sounds real cool. Love me some Aqua Metals. BioLife Solutions, another interesting one to look at. And then finally, thank you for giving me the solution for what I said earlier, that I can't speak the Chinese language. Here's Rosetta Stone reporting earnings. Sorry, Rosetta Stone, I won't partake. I think we're at a time in which the business world is trying to get more and more bilingual. So I think Rosetta Stone's pretty well set up to be successful in this kind of a market, because as we work more on global expansion of business, this is something that's essential. So Rosetta Stone could be an interesting play. That wraps up Wednesday. Thursday, we've got Dollar General. Again, dollar stores. Apparently, I learned last week that people do really go into these dollar stores. Dollar Tree apparently they had really good earnings, so apparently people really go into dollar stores. I didn't realize this because I've never partaken, but apparently it's a thing. So, and they're doing well. So I don't know if Dollar General is going to be the same way. We've got Best Inc. And then Party City, which again Party City is one of the most interesting retailers I've seen in my life, because it's a place that's really focused on getting the majority of its money during the Halloween season, as opposed to Christmas time. I mean, this is a company that's focused on decorations and costumes, stuff like that. Obviously, they do business year-round, but the question is it even profitable for them to do business year-round? This company's been hammered as of late. I thought for a while this thing was going to go bankrupt, and I think there's still potential for it. I don't know. It's an interesting one. So Party City is down in the $1 range right now. So in the past year, down 82%. I don't know if this company is going bankrupt, but last quarter was horrific for them. So it'll be interesting to look at what this earnings has for them. But obviously, there's, I don't know. Who knows? Then we've got Azul. Speaking of Rosetta Stone, that means blue. So how's that make you feel? I hope it makes you feel good. We've got Axum. Then we have Celsius, the inferior form of temperature. Agnes. Then Northern Oil and Gold. Again, oil, stay out of these guys because the market sentiment is negative on them. We've got Corbis. And finish it up with your favorite movie, 300, or Spartan, as you might think of it. So, I wish, back in my past life, I was, in fact, a Roman Spartan. I can just tell, because, what can I say? One of the strongest guys anyone's ever met, to be fair. As long as we're on the lying train, I also speak 900 languages. So, anyways, we've got, after close, another good play, Adobe. It's a very good company. I really am a huge fan of Adobe personally. So, definitely I'll be looking at that that earnings in depth. They're a good future-proof company, in my opinion. Very focused on the future. My nose is so stuffed up because, that's right, I caught the stuff. I caught it, guys. I'm sorry. I'm quarantined now, so... We've got Broadcom, another very good company to look at. I really like Broadcom. And again, this is a future-oriented stock. So in the future, this is going to be even, they'll perform even better. So that's why I like looking at these earnings. See some long-term investment opportunities. We've got Ulta Beauty. Ulta Beauty's killing it. This stock is one of the most out of control if you look over the past 5 years. Ulta is just like, out of control. But in the past year, it's actually gone down because guess what? At one point, it was over 300. It dropped all the way down to around 250 in a matter of like a week. So definitely one that is interesting to look at. But it was like a day it dropped a solid, 10-15%. So still a stock doing super well for itself. The company's doing super well for itself, expanding and just really rocking it. We've got Slack, which Slack, I talk about Slack a lot, and I've been bashing on Slack because guess what? They're a garbage IPO. Down 30% since IPO in the past year because they IPO'd this past year, but Slack is just... It's just a garbage factory. They're a negative money earner. They lose money. IPO's it was just way too overvalued at the start. So, could potentially be getting to a point where it might be worth buying. But I don't believe, personally, that I'm a huge fan of it. It's a stock that will get affected by this virus, no doubt, too. So, I wouldn't mess with it. After that, we have DocuSign. Again, I don't talk much about DocuSign whenever it comes up on here, but I think it is an interesting play for the future. If you think about DocuSign, it's something that's going to allow you to digitally sign, documents on the web, which as obviously boomers would say on the web, but it does allow you to digitally sign documents, through the internet. That's what's really interesting about it, because in the future, we're going to a paperless business world, and I think DocuSign could be well positioned to do well in that. I certainly have a couple times in which I've had to use DocuSign, not often, but again, a lot of stuff's still done on paper for now, but at some point, it will be all done digitally. When I deal with vendors or really contractors, for the most part, a lot of them are bringing in tablets now that want me to sign on there. But again, this is a finger sign instead of a DocuSign thing. But a DocuSign is an auto-filled signature, which is just, I think it's an interesting company for the future. I like it. I really like what they're doing there. Could be worth it. We've got Inovio after them. Good company. And Oracle, also good company to look at. Oracle's very well positioned for the future. Then we've got Gap. Not as good of a company, in my opinion. One of the retailers that I don't think is going to be doing too well. in the future. But again, as I mentioned, clothing is a field that will be in the market for quite a while. There's not really going to be a digital clothing push. We're not going to get rid of physical retail clothing places, because people need to look at the clothing that they're going to buy. People need to feel it. They need to try it on before they buy it. Otherwise, you got to go through a lengthy return process online. It's just a nightmare. You wasted your time. After Gap, we have Zuora and Zumiez, which Zumiez, obviously, I feel like the only place they exist is in malls, and malls aren't doing super well for themselves, so I'll be interested to see if that's a bad earnings, what that looks like. Then Friday, that's right, we got Contura Energy, Harrow Health Incorporated. I said that really weird, and I do apologize for that. We've got Achieve, Buckle, another really it's a very high-end clothing retailer, so we'll see how they do. I think the high-end companies will do perfectly fine in this market where retail gets shoved behind in the past, as people like to say. But I think they'll do fine. We've got Harvest, Renesola. Sounds like a solar energy company, which is one that I'm interested in, obviously, because solar energy is going to be bigger in the future than it is now, for sure. OFS, PLX Pharma, and HH, and don't forget, you've got Neos Therapeutics as well. So now it's time for me to go catch that sweet XFL game. Gotta watch the XFL, so I really hope you enjoyed. Let's go.